Captain's log, August 16th, 2023, Wednesday. Yeah. It's a little after midnight, so it's not Thursday. But anyway, so this was my first day in Panama City Beach. I got down here around 5:30 this morning and got into my room and then crashed. Didn't leave the room until probably like 4 in the afternoon, just rested. Actually not feeling that great. I have a UTI. Sorry if that's too much information for you guys, but if you follow me for any amount of time, just know that that's how I am. I'm TMI. Like, we're gonna talk about everything. I have not had one of these things in like over a decade, and I don't remember ever having one like this. Like, basically, like, I just feel like I need to pee all the time. But when I go to the bathroom, like, I can't really pee very much, and it's super uh, uncomfortable. And like, I had like a little abdominal pain today. So I left here and went to a pharmacy, and thankfully there's over-the-counter medicine you can get. I asked the pharmacist or the pharmacist tech like what they recommended, and they recommended something called Azo, and I've had 2 doses of it. And after the second dose, I finally feel like I'm thankful that I can definitely tell that I'm feeling better because oh my goodness, it's been so uncomfortable. But I went and got some, supplies. My dumbass forgot my toiletry bag at home. Like, oh, here I am all day long. I made a bunch of videos today before I left my room. Like, I made, like, a video about my memory issues. I made a video about travel stuff. I made a video thanking God for things and talking about some of my spiritual stuff and just how good God's been to me the last few years, especially. And then I went out and got supplies and medicine and stuff. And so I'm in Florida. This was kind of like a trip I'm doing on a whim. Like, literally, I was only home for 3, maybe 4 days after spending a week in Vegas. But I've been just dying mentally to go back to the ocean for the last month and a half. And I checked to see if the timeshare that I'm an owner in had any availability that was within driving distance of me, and they had the room that I'm in right now. There's the room. They had it available for 3 nights, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna come see the ocean before the class that I'm teaching starts back and life gets busy and all that kind of stuff. And anyways, this trip, this is a me trip. I think this is the first time I've ever gone on a trip completely by myself and not with no plans to meet up with anybody. Like, this is all me. Well, I say it's all me, but if you know anything about my spiritual stuff, like, as far as I'm concerned, this is a spiritual trip. It's a trip for me, and I'm spending a lot of time like meditating and talking to God and spirits and stuff. And what I've decided to do this trip is this is a low key trip. I'm gonna unwind, relax, pamper myself, and I'm just gonna let God lead me wherever. So, like, today, after I got my supplies, I was like, okay, well, I obviously need to go eat something. And instead of like overthinking it and stuff like I usually do, like, I opened up Yelp and I pulled open the map and I kind of looked at the general area I wanted to go to, and I just let like one of the points on the map draw me to it. I saw the name of it and I'm like, yep, that one. Like, it felt right. And I think it was like Boardwalk, like under the pier Boardwalk Bar and Grill. I don't remember the exact name. I had no idea what it would be or what kind of food or anything like that. So it was a surprise. And I love it when things are a surprise. So I drive to the place, and it's behind like a giant condominium thing. So I couldn't see it. I had to ask somebody, like, where is this restaurant? And they're like, okay, well, see this flag over there? Walk towards it, go into the tunnel, turn right, go up a staircase, and it'll be. And I mean, and I guess my first impression was I literally thought this thing was going to be under a pier. Because I swear the name of it's like Under the Pier. It's not under a pier, but I did have to go through a tunnel to get to it, so that was kind of fun. It's just like a little restaurant thing on the back of a condominium, but it was really great. Had a fantastic view of the ocean. It wasn't crowded. The food and the drink I had were really good. I had like a seafood gumbo and I had a peach Long Island. Honestly, that peach Long Island was so good. I kinda wanna go back, but I'm gonna try and resist that urge. I try to make myself not go back to places. I try to always go to, like, a new place, unless I'm taking somebody somewhere to show them something. Um, but I got to enjoy a fantastic view of the sun setting, and then there was beach access right there, so after I ate, I went and I grabbed, like, my towel, and I went out to the ocean, and I think I made, like, one music video to Magic from Xanadu, that I think I'm gonna try and edit tonight and maybe post tomorrow, and took some pictures, and then I swam in the ocean as the sun set and continued swimming in the ocean until the stars came out, and it was dark, and it was absolutely beautiful and fantastic. Like, see, if I had planned my evening, like, I couldn't have planned anything. I mean, I guess I could have, but, like, when an evening like this evening, like, happens and it's more spontaneous and you just kinda, like, let yourself go with the flow and stuff, it feels so good. It's so better. It's such a huge delight, like, I mean, and there's just something magical whenever I just let, like, God, spirit, whatever you wanna call it, like, guide me to things. Like, it always feels magical, and I am very spiritual, and I'm basically psychic and a whole bunch of other things. I channel and all kinds of crazy deep spiritual stuff a lot of people don't believe in, but, it's real for me, guys, and there are thousands and thousands of people in the world that experience it as well and acknowledge it, and, some cool experiences I had is, like, I talked to God while I was, swimming and stuff because, like, God talks to all of us, and you can go whatever name you want. I mean, like for those of you that aren't religious or spiritual at all, let's just say you're talking to the essence of love, okay? Or the universe or life itself. Anyways, but like once you do open up the connection, like everyone is capable of talking to God. You don't need to go through somebody else. You just have to learn to like listen. And once you learn to listen, like and you're open to receiving, like, you can talk all the time. So, like, I never feel I mean, I can tune him out if I want to, Like, I don't choose to tune him out, but sometimes I like quiet and, like, rest or whatever, and he knows that, so, he lets me have that time. But most of the time, I do wanna talk to him. I'll be like, "Okay, like, what do we wanna talk about today?" And that sort of thing, and, or kind of being open to talking to like the consciousness of other things, like so when I got in the ocean, so earlier this summer when I went to the ocean, and this was a first for me. I had never really experienced the ocean speaking directly to me before. I just have always felt called to the ocean, and when I go to the ocean there are certain impressions that almost always come to my mind and certain feelings and stuff. And now that I'm kind of like more conscious and am able to communicate with other types of consciousness, um, like we're able to communicate better. So like this past like a month ago, I went to the ocean in Savannah, Georgia, and it caught me off guard because it started talking to me. It told me that it was my family. And, basically that my soul or part of my soul was from the sea, which makes sense because, like all of us evolved from things that originally came from the ocean. So, I mean, that does logically make sense. Though I will say, like, I'm a water sign and a Pisces, and I definitely feel like I have a stronger connection with the ocean than a lot of people. Like, I know some people that feel more connected with like the mountains and stuff. But it told me that I was from the sea and it was my family and some other things, just a few things. And that's been on my mind for a while. And so I was eager to come back to the ocean and to feel it and talk to it and experience it again. And today when I came, um, it was it was kind of like a homecoming, like when like it talked to me and I perceived multiple voices. Um, I also perceived like a collective voice. But like for instance, like playing in the water, like I felt like like it told me things along the lines of it, like it was so happy to see me and it loved me and it missed me, and that yeah, we're family. It told me that, like, when some of the waves would hit me when some of the waves would hit me, I was given, like, impressions of, like, cousins, like, horse playing with me, which was super fun. That reminded me of my childhood with my cousins and stuff. It told me, like, I haven't been feeling good today, and it told me that it would help heal me. So I stayed in the water a long time because I wasn't feeling good, and both the ocean, like, God's talking to me at the same time. Both the like, God was actually, because I was like, "How long should I stay in the water?" I mean, if I was feeling well, I'd stay in the water forever, and he'd tell me, like, I'd be ready to get out, and he'd be like, "No, stay a little longer," or like I needed to go do something. He's like, "Okay, well, go out and do this and then come back, like, come back for a little bit longer." So just like being open to like receiving and like listening and stuff. And I mean, I'm feeling a lot better. I mean, I've been taking medicine and stuff, but I think that time in the water really helped me. And just to continue talking about the ocean, since that was the big thing today. So when I go to the sea, well, first, let me just say that the colors of the sky and the water were just absolutely breathtaking. And I remember being in the water, looking at the surface of the water as the sun's setting, these beautiful shades of deep blue and like silver, like shimmering as the water on the surface of the water as it moves. And I remember thinking, like, wow, like there's no ultra high definition television that has anything on actually like being here and seeing this with your own eyes. And I remember thinking about, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys, I love TV and I love stories and stuff, but man, people do not go outside enough. I mean, and I know that because I didn't go outside enough for a long time. But like nature is amazing and it's so gorgeous. And the ocean at sunset is so beautiful. And I mean, it was just a really lovely day. But when I go to the ocean, I mean, I feel an instinctive call to go to the ocean. And um, if I don't go every so often, I start to have like physical, like withdrawal symptoms. There are so many stories that I resonate with, but I have always very strongly resonated with the story of the Little Mermaid. Um, Not just the Disney one, actually, my favorite version my favorite version is the Hans Christian Andersen one where she dies. It's not because she dies, it's because of that story, like, oh god, it was so intense. Like, she was, like, so pure of love and stuff, and basically, like, sacrificed herself for a chance at love, and it just didn't work out. But, anyways, but just generally speaking, The Little Mermaid, like that whole like being from one world and going to another, like wanting to explore a new world, like I totally get that. And then just like I'm a Pisces and a water sign, so like I have a very strong affinity for water, and I feel like I'm very good at like adapting my shape to wherever situation I'm in. And so, yeah, just so many sea things. But there's one other story, and actually, this is the story that like really comes to mind every time I go to the ocean. For my whole life, every time I go to the ocean, I always think of the story of the last unicorn, because there's an animated film called The Last Unicorn. I think it came out in the 80s or maybe the late 70s, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. You should totally go watch it. It still holds up. And it's the story of someone that thinks they're the last unicorn in the world. They can't find any of the other unicorns. And something happens. Someone transforms her into a humanoid form. And basically they go off on an adventure to try and find the other unicorns. And long story short, they eventually find the other unicorns and discover that there's this king that has like basically like captured all of them, and he is somehow he's keeping them like pinned up in the sea. And there are scenes in the film where like when the ocean waves come in, like the white, the crest of the waves, when you see that part of the wave, the white of the waves, like it's the unicorns like on the thing. So anytime I go to the ocean and I see the waves come in, like that always pops in my mind. And actually I'm just making like some connections now, and it's like I don't know, maybe my soul really is from the sea. And when I see that, like it feels, like maybe that's my family. And when I see the crest of those waves, it makes me think of that movie because maybe that's the ocean trying to tell me that that's my family. Hmm. It's weird. I still don't know exactly how that works, but like spiritually speaking, it does resonate. So I'll have to think on that some more. But yeah, like I love to be in the water and like to pet the surface of the water. I like to scoop it and pet it and play with it. I love it when it hits. I don't like it when it goes up my nose, but I like to like ride the waves. I like to just float around. When I'm in the ocean, I just feel so at peace. Now I used to be like a little afraid of like sharks and after one bad jellyfish sting jellyfish and stuff, but since I started like just really like trusting and like communicating with God all the time. Like today, like I didn't feel scared at all. Not even swimming in the dark. Like God and my spirit team and stuff have been trying to help me get over a lot of my fears. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of my goals in this life is to conquer fear. And and I've gotten to the point now where it's like, you know what? Like I trust God. Like he told me how long to stay out in the water. Like he'll tell me if there's like if I need to be worried about something, etc. But like one of the other things in the water is like when I first started walking out in the water, I mean, first it was perfect temperature. I mean, it was absolutely perfect, perfect temperature, perfect depth. And when I first went out, like there were fish everywhere and they're swimming all around me for ages and ages, like all these fish just swimming all around me. And that was really sweet and beautiful. And so, yeah, I had a really magical time in the water. And I do think it was healing and I enjoyed the views and I enjoyed the feeling. I felt I felt like I was with my family. Like I mean, and they were talking to me and it was so nice. So nice. And when I say talking, like I don't audibly hear things. It's like telepathy, like mental stuff. It comes in. Sometimes it comes in like a mental voice, and sometimes it comes in as like impressions of things will be brought to your mind, um, and you just know whether it's you once you open up to like receiving and stuff you just know whether it's something coming to your mind from someone else or whether you're pulling it. Anyways, if you have questions about that, because I don't normally talk about that stuff in my captain's logs, I have a spiritual channel on TikTok and where I talk about all this kind of stuff. But feel free to ask questions if you're interested. Um, but yeah, so I eventually got out of the water and I started. One of my friends sent me a text like, "Carol, where are you at now?" Because I'd posted like a picture of the ocean on my story. I know, like here lately, like everybody's like one girl the other day, she's like, "Man, I'd love to live a day in your life." And I'm like, "Yeah, right now it's pretty good. Like my life hasn't always been good, guys. It's been a struggle for most of my life, but this past year has been absolutely fucking magical. And actually, the last 4 years have been, I mean, really, I mean, I was to a place where I was like fairly happy, and then basically like God woke me back up in 2020. And the more I have connected, like spiritually and stuff, like the more magical um, and happy my life has become. And I'm still trying to like work through some things and figure out a lot of stuff in my life. But I hope that once I finish, it's my hope that once I finish figuring out my own issues and basically like freeing myself from the matrix, um, I'm gonna come back and save the rest of you guys, okay? So, hang in there, guys. In the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know because I do think that basically the way you free yourself from this hellhole is, like connect back to God or spirit or whatever you want to talk about. And if you don't want to believe in like a higher power or whatever, and you don't even need to think of it as a higher power. Um, I would say think about connecting with yourself because if you learn to listen to yourself and to listen to your heart, you're on the right track. So, yeah, chatted with a friend and, then returned to my room, and I was feeling really awful when I got here. I was on the phone with my husband, and he's like, "You might wanna go to the hospital or something," because he was listening to me, like, groan in pain, like, the drive back. I would have loved to have stayed in the ocean all night, but I just started having, like, really bad abdominal pain and stuff, and I was like, I just need to go take care of myself." Like, I'd love to just, like, float in the ocean all night and talk to it and feel like I'm with my family and talk to God and stuff, but, sometimes like, the body and the mind need to rest, and you have to kinda, like, cut that stuff out even though it is, like, fucking magical as hell and amazing. It's like I can't tap into it all the time. I gotta go, like, take care of myself in real life stuff. But I'm thankful to have, like, the next few days to get to indulge in this a lot more. So, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm gonna go, like, clean myself up and continue to rest, and we'll see what kind of fun adventures I have in the next 24 hours.